What's up, everybody? My name is Aaron, and welcome to the Mad Maker Studio. Guess what? It's date night. And what do we do on date night? We play a variety of visual novels, otome games, and dating sims. Really, anything that fits into those kinds of categories is what will be on the date night playlist. Now, to kick things off for our very first date night tonight, we are playing Akash, Path of the Five. As of right now, I'm not planning to do all of the character routes, but we'll see how it goes. This is a fully voiced visual novel otome game, and I'm already in love with the art style. So grab a snack, get cozy, and let's go seduce some cute elemental boys. New game. Yeah, I'll keep it as Aurora. Deep in the heart of Zamarald Forest lies the village of Akash, where the Alwan or elemental people reside. Thanks to their command of magic, the elementals have managed to live mostly undisturbed by humanity, but an unexplained gradual drop in the number of elemental females has forced them to interbreed with women from the nearby human village of Haven. Humans remain unwelcome in Alwani society despite holding the key to their preservation, and as such, I can't read that fast. Oh well. You can pause it and read it if you want.
Wake up.
Yes, hello. Aurora? Aurora!
Wake up.
Is that my father? What time is it?
Do I have to sing the wake up song? You're getting a bit too old for this. You, it's Mr. Sun. Can you come out and play?
I sit upright in my bed immediately, willing myself awake out of sheer embarrassment.
Papa, I'm 20 years old. You don't have to sing me awake anymore.
My father is sitting in a chair next to my bed, still in the middle of an old childhood song. He stops when he sees me sitting up and gives me a wink.
Oh, I get it. You don't want any of your classmates to hear and get jealous. Not everyone gets such a marvelous musical start to their day.
I can't help but smile. My father communicates primarily in corny jokes. Don't all dads?
It's hard enough keeping the peace with those guys. I don't need to give them anything else to argue about. What are you doing here this early, though?
My father lives a few days away in our home village, Akaba. I usually only see him a few times a year. His job keeps him busy, and it's not the easiest journey for an elemental of his age. He's been in town visiting for a few days now.
What? Isn't it enough to want to see my precious daughter?
It's always enough, Papa. But that could have waited until after school.
He suddenly looks away, embarrassed. He begins to fidget nervously with the tip of his beard.
Well, you're getting to a special time in your life. You know, there's going to be some changes.
Can I talk to Mom?
Yeah, I know, Papa. I'm going to have to choose my element in 2 weeks.
That's a lot of pressure. Unlike males, elemental females aren't born into one element. We have the ability to command all elements until we come of age at 20. They say it's an evolutionary advantage that it allows us to choose our partners more easily, but from where I'm sitting it sounds a lot more like a giant inconvenience. How do you even begin to decide something like that?
No, not just that. Physical changes.
Again, where's Mom? He crosses his arms and looks up at the ceiling, then sighs and resumes fidgeting with his beard.
Your 20th birthday is only 2 weeks away now, which means your body has already begun the process of maturing.
I think you're a few years late there, Pops.
This is really the sort of talk your mother should have had with you. And I suppose that can't be helped. I'm sure you remember 2 years ago, they had a talk with you and your classmates about some of the, changes the boys were experiencing.
Oh, I'm already feeling the cringe. Male elementals reach sexual maturity 2 years earlier than elemental females, for plot convenience. We learned all about that in excruciating detail 2 years ago.
Yeah, I remember. That was an awkward day.
Well, it's your time now. They'll talk to you about that today, I imagine. Things are going to be different for you from now on.
He looks a bit sad.
You know you're the most precious thing in the world to me, and I trust you to take care of yourself. But men are going to be looking at you differently now. Even your classmates. Well, especially your classmates.
Okay. Since it was the intro card faded away too fast, I was reading slow because I thought I could just click to progress it and then it just faded away. But from what I remember from the game description, our main character is the very first female elemental that's been born into her village within 200 years. So it seems like she should be like a, you know, a national treasure. But she's just a normal girl, I guess.
A female elemental is an exceedingly rare thing. The last time this village even had a female elemental come of age was over 200 years ago. And you know the child of a male and female elemental is a pureblood. Many of our people have killed for that sort of power.
I reach out for Papa's hand and give it a reassuring squeeze.
I know, Papa. You kept me enrolled here in the academy even after I went through the change because you trusted them to keep me safe and teach me to protect myself. Trust in the decision you made and trust me.
Elementals are age-entered until 10 years of age. We simply refer to this part of our life cycle as the change. Papa squeezes my hand back and gives me a misty-eyed smile.
You're right, you're right. I'm so proud of the woman you've become. Speaking of which, I'll be back in 2 weeks to see your coming-of-age ceremony. Have you given any thought to what element you'd like to choose yet?
I've tried, but I don't know, Papa. They all have their own advantages.
Papa sits back in his chair and calls forth a small orb of water. It floats just above his hand, glittering in the early morning sunlight.
You could always give the old family element a try. What are you waiting for?
Get out. I groan and cover my face with the blanket.
That's it, I quit. I'm going back to sleep.
Papa laughs and tousles my hair.
Too early in the morning to laugh that hard, eh? You know I'll be happy as long as you're happy. But water wouldn't hurt.
He bends over and kisses my forehead.
Take care of yourself, sweet girl. I'll be seeing you again before you know it.
Thanks for everything, Papa. See you soon.
I roll over to see if I can get another hour of sleep before class, but it's too late. I'm wide awake. I get out of bed and get dressed. Well, it sounds like if your dad came in to wake you up to go to school, you have significantly less time than a full hour to get ready to go. I look at myself in the mirror for a moment. I don't look any different. I don't think I feel any different. Maybe it's like some subtle hormonal thing, or maybe it didn't happen yet. Whatever, I can't waste time worrying about things I don't understand. I'm sure they'll explain it in class today. Maybe it'll be less awkward now that the boys are more mature. Who am I kidding? It's going to be terrible. I fix my hair in the mirror and gather up my school things. Let's just get this over with. Akash Academy. I like the backgrounds. It's like 3D watercolor. Akash Academy. Elementals from all over the land send their children here. Every year, only 6 students are accepted into the incoming class. The faculty does its best to make sure each element type is represented, but it's not always possible with the pool of applicants. We were lucky enough to have one of every element in our class plus me. I was born a water elemental, but after I went through the change, I lost that part of my identity.
Good morning.
Who are you? Lux? Lux. We've been best friends since the first day of school. He's the only one that didn't treat me differently after the change. He's a light elemental.
Morning, Lux.
I take a seat next to him. He gives me his usual sweet smile.
You look really nice today. Did you do something different with your hair?
Oh, we get to play now. Oh, thanks. Just the usual. Don't I always look nice? Sure, we'll be nice.
Aw, thanks. Just the usual.
There's definitely something different today.
Surely you can't be so naive, Lux.
Rocco is a wind element and definitely the school playboy. Someone less charitable than me might call him a pervert. He likes to be called Rocco.
Today is an important day in a female elemental's life. The day her body starts going through some special changes.
I don't like the way you're talking to me, Rocco. Get out. Lux frowns, but isn't quite sure how to respond. Rocco slings his arm over the back of his chair and gives me his most winning smile.
Darling, you're looking even more scrumptious than usual today.
Okay, I don't like you. Go away.
Scrumptious? Do you even hear yourself sometimes? Who says scrumptious?
Rowan is Rocco's best friend and an earth elemental. He's not a very serious student, but he's a skilled fighter. He's a nice guy and he's always hanging out with Rocco, so we don't spend much time together. Rocco turns back to look at Rowan with a look of mock disdain.
I'm not going to take advice on how to talk to women from a guy that's never even touched one.
I could touch plenty of women if I wanted to. I just choose not to. I'm saving myself.
Oh, these characters. Oh.
Right. You're saving yourself.
He turns back around and elbows the boy sitting to his right.
Can you believe this guy, Iggy? Saving himself? The delusion. Saving himself for the scores of women we're going to encounter in our lifetime?
Don't bring me into your idiotic conversations. And I'm not going to tell you again. Stop calling me Iggy.
Ignatius, he's a fire elemental. He prefers to keep to himself, but Rocco and Rowan are always teasing him. We used to get along all right before I went through the change, but nowadays I feel like he can't quite look at me in the eye anymore. Oh, he's cute. Get the fuck out, Rocco. Ignatius pulls his chair away from Rocco and throws his elbow over the desk as if to keep Rocco at bay, glaring pointedly at his notes. Rowan holds his hand out and calls forth the tiniest flower. He leans over Rocco and holds it out to Ignatius.
Hey now, Rocco, that wasn't cool. Don't be upset. Please accept this as a peace offering. Natty.
Ignatius lifts his hand and burns the flower Rowan is holding without even looking up from his notes. Rowan jerks his hand back and drops the former flower's embers with a yelp, clutching his hand. The parchment in front of him begins to smoke.
Ouch! Come on, man, I need those fingers.
Rowan, your parchment.
Rowan's dry parchment has burst into flames. A plume of smoke now rises from the desk in front of him. A thin jet of water arcs gracefully across the room and puts out the small fire raging on Rowan's desk.
Nothing more than a bunch of overgrown children. Shameful.
Caspian, if we had nobility, Caspian would be the elemental version of a prince. He comes from a long distinguished line of pure-blood water elementals. He's not close with anyone here. I sometimes wonder if he has any friends at all in his home village. How old are these elemental? Like, she just turned 20, but 200... I don't know.
What are you thinking, Ignatius? Using magic like that in such close quarters? Offensive magic should not be used so thoughtlessly.
Ignatius glowers at Caspian for a moment, then returns to poring over his notes. Caspian turns his intimidating gaze to Rowan and Rocco.
And you two. Antagonize Ignatius on your own time. Some of us are here to learn.
Ignatius, excuse me, I'll pronounce it correctly from now on. He sits down in the seat closest to the door. Rowan grimaces at the wet pile of ashes where his parchment used to be. Rocco slaps him on the back and laughs.
Cheer up, Rowan. It's not like those notes were going to be of any use anyway. Maybe Iggy will let you borrow his.
Just as Ignatius turns to say something, our instructor enters the room. Elder Glenn usually teaches us elemental history. He's a kind old man, though his lectures tend to be a bit dry.
Good morning, class.
Morning, Elder Glenn. Elder Glenn unrolls a large weathered piece of parchment. There's an illustration of a naked male and female elemental on it. Oh, great! Oh, goddess, no. Get me out of here right now. Elder Glenn beams jovially at us all.
Goodness me, it's been a few hundred years since this parchment has seen any use in our academy. We have a special lesson for you this morning.
Again, what is the average lifespan of an elemental? Because if Caspian is a pure blood elemental and they're still like, 20 years old, surely his mom is still alive. Can't she have this talk with me? Ah! I don't think I've ever seen Rocco pay such rapt attention to one of the Elder Glenn's lectures.
As you all know, elementals come of age at 20. There's two components to maturity, the physical component and the mental component. Mental is self-explanatory, but the physical, well, so many of us never even see a female elemental within our lifetimes. So it's perfectly normal to be confused about this.
I'm feeling the cringe all over. We'd be done. Rocco drapes his arm around Rowan and jokes with him in a stage whisper.
It's perfectly normal. Don't be embarrassed, Rowan.
Rowan shrugs Rocco's arm off his shoulders and stares straight ahead. The tips of his ears are tinged red. Elder Glenn doesn't seem to notice and obviously continues on with his lecture. He unrolls another parchment, this one containing an explicit illustration of a male and female tangled up in each other. I've never seen anything like it, but for some reason it makes me feel embarrassed. I've been embarrassed since Rocco showed up. This can only go well. Let's see what happens.
Reproduction between a male and female elemental is a rare but beautiful thing. For most male elementals, it's nothing more than a fairy tale, an unattainable ideal. Long ago, we had equal numbers of males and females, but over the centuries, the balance has dwindled.
I wonder if we'll ever find out why that is, or if that's even important. Feels like it should be important to the story. I can feel my cheeks burning. I wonder what the boys think of this. Oh gosh. Is this where I have to start, like, picking a path? Well, so far I'm a fan of the Fire Boy, so I'm gonna look at Ignatius. I look over at Ignatius. He slouches back into his chair and rests his chin in his hand. His usual doodling has been put on hold. Maybe he can't concentrate with that image in his mind. It's kind of difficult to think about anything else.
Physically, female elementals and human females are extremely similar, but the coupling of a male and female elemental is different in many ways. The most important way, however, is that the fruit of their union will result in a pure blood elemental. A pure blood elemental's command of magic is vastly stronger than that of a human elemental mix. You can understand now why some villages have gone to war over a single female elemental.
Seems a bit excessive. He smiles kindly at me as if paying me a compliment. I give him an awkward smile. Because how would you feel to know that your very existence was the cause of a dumb war?
Female elementals reach sexual maturity just before the elemental age of majority, unlike male elementals who reach sexual maturity at age 18. You may recall our lecture 2 years ago.
Do I ever, sir? It was riveting.
But I tell you, Rocco, get the fuck out. Caspian gives Rocco a look of pure disgust, or Rocco doesn't seem to notice.
Ah, thank you, Sir Rocco. Now, you may have noticed something different about your classmate today. With the coming-of-age ceremony just around the corner, she will be ready to reproduce.
Excuse me, sir? I am my own person. I've got my own thoughts and feelings. How about you, get the fuck out with Rocco? And, don't treat me like I'm just an object. How about that?
As an elemental female, it is your duty to select a suitable partner and bear as many children as you can as soon as possible. You should begin screening suitors within the week.
Because apparently if Caspian's parents are still alive, I'm gonna be alive for a long time. Elder Glenn, you're not gonna tell me what to do? Okay? This is unreal. I want to punch him in the face. I can feel the eyes of the entire class boring into me. I sink down a bit further into my seat. I know Elder Glenn means well, but this kind of attention is humiliating, and I want to punch him in the face. I never asked for any of this, and as for kids... No, I don't want to have children. I'm not sure if I want kids. I do want kids, but I don't even have a boyfriend. I'll go down the middle road. I'm not sure. We're still learning about our MC. I don't really know if I ever want kids. Maybe when I'm older with the right guy, but I don't know if that's something I even want. No one has even considered how I might feel about this. Exactly. The rest of the day drags by, class finally ends, and I gather my things to leave at once. Rocco leans casually against my desk. I hate him so much.
Where are you off to in such a hurry? Eager to begin screening suitors already? Let me be the first to apply.
Excuse me while I find either a blunt or sharp instrument. Rocco? Rocco, look at me. Get the fuck out. Mess with him, ignore him, shut him down hard. I want to believe that all of these characters' routes have are redeeming. I want to see him squirm, so I'm gonna mess with him. I smile sweetly at Rocco and run my finger along his cheek, catching one of his curls with my index finger. He gives me the usual smirk. I'm a bit irritated with myself for finding him so attractive when he's being so obnoxious. Yeah, you can be hot and also an asshole, so get out my way. I got places to be, Rocco.
It is so sweet that you actually think you have a chance with me. Tell you what, though. I like your confidence. You're going to make some human woman very happy someday.
Oh, sick burn! I pat his cheek patronizingly and breeze past him. It takes him a moment to recover, but he laughs it off like he's in on the joke.
Oh, honey, I've made several human women very happy already. You just come and find old Rocco when you want a piece of all this happiness.
No thank you. He gestures to himself. Caspian gives him a look that could curdle milk, then sweeps past me on his way out. I hurry out the door before Rocco can say anything else. Finally alone after a humiliating afternoon, I should go to my room to decompress. A bath might be nice after all this. As I walk back to the student quarters, I notice more eyes on me than usual. Elemental men are staring at me everywhere I go. It's a bit uncomfortable. As I start to pick up the pace a little, someone steps into my path.
You're looking good today. Real good.
Creepy villager, I'm not in the mood. I clutch my bag a bit closer and walk right around him.
Hey, that's okay. You look just as good from behind, too. Come see me sometime soon. You know where I'll be.
Don't mind me, I'm just gonna look for a place to hide a body real quick. He laughs a bit too loudly. I can feel his eyes on me long after he's gone. It makes me shudder. Student dormitory. As I gather my things to go to the bathhouse, I can't shake that creepy encounter from earlier. Elder Glenn's lecture echoes in my ear. You can understand now why some villagers have gone to war over a single female elemental. The dummies. It might not be a good idea for me to walk to the bathhouse alone with that guy around. I should bring someone with me just in case. Oh, really? Really? Are these all the friends you have? Well, I'm gonna be on the Ignatius path, so here we go. I've decided. I've done decided. We're going for the fire boy. Well, no, I almost accidentally cricked Rocco. Oh no. Oh, I would have hated that. I walk down the hall to Ignatius's door and knock. Silence. Perhaps he's not in? I try again. Before my fist can connect with the door for a third knock, it swings open to reveal Ignatius. To my horror, my fist smashes straight into Ignatius's nose.
Ah!
Yes!
Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry! Are you alright?
She's strong. Ignatius clutches at his nose with one hand and glares at me.
Please, let me have a look at it.
He slowly lowers his hand, revealing a small trickle of blood. Oh, I'm real strong.
Oh no, you're bleeding! Here, let me help you.
I hold my hand up to his nose to stop the bleeding with a bit of light magic, but he flinches away from my touch and backs up into his room. Did we mess up already?
It's fine, I'll just... You don't have to do that.
He rummages around in a drawer for a few moments, then returns with a bit of small cloth stuffed into his nostril. We stand face to face in the doorway in an awkward silence.
So, did you need something, or...?
Yes, actually, if you wouldn't mind walking with me for a minute, I can explain on the way.
He narrows his eyes at me. No, I just came to punch you in the face.
This isn't a prank, is it?
No, why would it be a prank? Please, Ignatius, I could use your help.
All right.
It was bad enough having Elder Glenn go on about all that embarrassing stuff, but when I left the classroom today, I could feel everyone else staring at me too. And I can deal with that, whatever. But there was this really creepy guy who just got in my way. And he didn't even touch me, but it was like he was looking right through me. And the things he said, and the gross little laugh. You know, I can deal with one guy, but I'm starting to think that maybe this is going to be what it's like from now on. An entire village of guys looking at me and just counting their future children.
That's really unfair. It's not like you asked for this.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna be appreciative. Thank you. Thank you for listening to me and sympathizing with me.
Thank you, Ignatius. That's exactly how I feel. No one ever really understands. They always start talking about my responsibilities.
I know all about that. My family never stops talking about responsibility. We worked really hard to get you accepted into Akash Academy, Ignatius. We didn't send you there to study art, Ignatius. You'll never learn responsibility with a charcoal stick in your hand, Ignatius. Ugh!
Oh dang, he's got a lot of pressure on him then.
It's not like I can't understand how everyone feels, but it just feels like nobody gives us the same courtesy, you know? Nobody even bothers to ask how I feel about any of this. They just assume I'm supposed to accept my fate and be honored that it happened to little old me.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's just how I feel too.
We smile at each other for a brief moment, but Ignatius suddenly seems to remember his usual shyness and immediately averts his gaze, blushing. Oh, he's an introvert! He's just like me! Except I can't draw. We walk for a few minutes in silence. Ignatius seems rather embarrassed. I guess I should have anticipated this. He can barely look me in the eye most of the time lately. I guess I'm going to have to keep the conversation going.
So, know any good jokes?
No. I just finished a game that was asking me a very similar question. I don't have any stories. We're done.
What? Not really. That's kind of Sirocco and Rowan's thing. Oh, but I did hear some news. They captured a human boy.
Ah, great.
What?
Humans and elementals have been at odds for generations. We've had a peace agreement with the nearby village for the last few hundred years, but things have been really tense between us lately.
Yeah, they said Elder Soul is taking us to see him tomorrow for class.
Well, that'll be something, won't it?
If you're into that sort of thing, I guess. I don't care to meet a human.
Agree, disagree? Who knows?
Come on, Ignatius. We're never going to get a better chance than this to see a human up close without putting ourselves in danger. Where's your sense of adventure?
Ugh, you sound like Sirocco.
The back of my mind is like, should I have agreed with him? And then I said, no, we are going to play how we want to. I toss my hair out of my eyes in Rocco's usual manner and give him my best impression. Oh no.
Where's your sense of adventure, Eggy darling?
Goddess, that is just creepy. You sound just like him. Ugh. Please don't ever do that again. One Sirocco is enough.
Well, we're here now. If you want to go in, I can wait out here for you.
That's kind of you. Thank you.
I mean, you don't have to stay. I don't know how long I'm gonna be. You can go do other things if you want.
It's nothing.
Whatever you want to do, man. All right. He pulls out his sketchbook and sits on the grass near the bathhouse wall. Ignatius and I walk back to the dormitory without any more creepy incidents. Maybe it was just that guy, or maybe seeing me with Ignatius makes them feel like they don't have a chance. Either way, I'm going to have to be more aware of my surroundings from now on. The men in the village are all looking at me differently now, and it seems they don't all have good intentions. We're gonna mess them up. Oh, 13 days until the coming of age ceremony. Does it have to be a ceremony? Can I just have a birthday, like a normal birthday at home with my dad and a cake? That's all I need. I awaken to the sounds of a lot of hustle and bustle. It seems like there's much more activity in the village than usual. There's a strange amount of chatter and doors and windows opening and closing for such an early hour. I rub the sleep from my eyes and begin my morning routine. Akash Village Square. As soon as I step outside, I'm greeted with a flurry of activity. Elementals wheeling carts, carrying massive bundles of fabric, leading livestock through the village, just to name a few. As I approach the village square, I can hear a baker and his apprentice gossiping as they work.
Can you believe it, sir? We're finally going to have a female at the coming of age ceremony this year. How exciting!
Excuse me, I have a name. I'm the only female elemental in 200 years. I would think everyone would know my name by now.
Take it easy on that dough, son. We haven't had an opportunity like this for 200 years. And I'll be damned if we lose out to Briarwood and his inferior sweet rolls because you've overworked the dough.
As soon as they catch sight of me, their chatter ceases. Magnus motions toward me with his rolling pin and swats his hapless apprentice in the back of the head. The apprentice rushes over to me with a bundle wrapped in cloth. Whatever it is, it smells incredible.
Excuse me, miss? Ma'am? We would be honored if you would accept these sweet rolls.
Oh, okay, yeah, so you do know my name. You're just gonna like talk about me like that behind my back?
What's the occasion?
We're just so excited about the coming of age ceremony that we got started early and now we've made too many. Please, miss, enjoy them.
Yeah, sure. I shrug and accept the bundle with a gracious smile. Don't mind if I do.
Thank you so much. These smell lovely.
The apprentice bows profusely as he backs away toward the bakery.
Oh no, thank you, miss. You honor us.
He continues bowing until he backs into his boss, who gives me a cheery wave with his rolling pin before steering his apprentice back into the kitchen. I've stopped by their bakery countless times on my way home from class. All this formality is a little strange. I won't say no to free sweets though, because I'm a woman. Before I can even unwrap the bundle to try a sweet roll, a few children approach me with a bundle of flowers. They seem a bit nervous, but eventually one steps forward and offers me a flower crown.
Miss, please do our family the honor of accepting.
Oh honey, I know you know that. I know you're trying to say accepting. Oh honey, I know you can speak. The child appears to be reading from a messy scrawl on their wrist. I bend down and indicate my acceptance of their gift with a bow. They seem relieved that they don't have to deliver the rest of their speech and carefully place the crown on my head.
My, what a fine crown. I feel like a goddess.
The child drops into a formal bow but smiles cheerfully before turning and running back to the other children. Now we're back in school. I managed to make my way to class after a few more interruptions. I hurry into my usual seat and unwrap the bundle of sweet rolls. The rolls release an intoxicating bouquet of sweet, doughy goodness. I pop one into my mouth. It tastes even better than it smells. I'll have to remember to get some more later. Boys have all arrived already, and the smell of my sweet rolls wafting through the classroom stops their conversations. Rocco reaches over my desk and snatches a roll because he's a jerk. He gives me a hammy wink and takes a bite because he's a jerk.
How kind of you to share with the class, darling.
Those smell really wonderful. Could I try one?
Let's see. I'm gonna share. But do I put it in his mouth or slide one across the table to him? If I put it in his mouth, will it shut him up? Let's find out. I'll select an especially plump roll and shove it into Alexis's mouth. His shout of surprise is quickly muffled by bread.
Isn't it amazing? It's like a little bite of heaven.
Lux smiles at me. I can see the hint of a blush on his pale cheeks.
Oh, amazing. Absolutely.
Caspian glares at us from the far side of the room. Okay, so we're not on a path yet, maybe? We're still in the early stage of the game. But I'm still gonna put all my energy into Ignatius. Because right now he's the one that I like the most.
Do you not see what all these gifts are? They're trying to buy you. Everyone wants to be a part of your coming-of-age ceremony. Are you truly so naive as to think all the men of our village are showering you with gifts for no good reason?
Excuse me. Last time I checked, it's my birthday, not yours. Let me live a little, Caspian. I know, and I don't care. I feel ashamed. Oh, hell no. If I'm already eating those rolls and wearing a crown, like, I know, I don't care. What is that? Did I flip him off? I cram a sweet roll into my mouth and make a rude gesture with my free hand. I flipped him off.
I'm not an idiot, Caspian. Doesn't mean I can't enjoy it.
Ignatius laughs. When he sees me looking over at him, he quickly looks away and busies himself with his notes. Just then, Elder Soul enters the classroom. He doesn't even bother coming to the front of the class. He simply beckons us to him from the door.
I've got a special class session for you today. One of the most important lessons you'll ever learn. We'll be doing something a little more practical. Gather your things and meet me outside.
Are we going to learn how to kill a human? He hurries off.
I thought our most important lesson was yesterday.
Rocco, get out. I don't want to look at your face. We're done. We never even started, but we're done.
There's an entire world that exists out there beyond your whim-wham, you know?
Freaking Rowan.
Whim-wham? If you're calling it that, it means you're not mature enough to be talking about it.
Can you idiots talk about Sirocco's penis somewhere else? You're blocking the doorway.
Oh, see, he's blunt. I like that.
How terribly rude of us. Not to worry, Iggy. We can continue talking about my penis on the way to wherever it is we're going.
Ignatius draws his fist back to punch Rocco, but finds his wrist firmly gripped by Lex.
Don't do this now, Ignatius. It's not worth getting in trouble. Save it for training in the afternoon.
Ignatius withdraws his arm and pushes past Rocco, who seems entirely unconcerned. With the fight broken up, we all file out of the classroom and begin following after Elder Soul. I'm sorry, Ignatius, but it is I who will have the first punch. As we follow Elder Soul, I can see the boys ahead of me. I wonder what they think about all this. I'm gonna walk with Ignatius. I jog a bit to catch up to Ignatius. He's trailing just behind Elder Soul. He slows his pace a bit when he notices me approaching him.
Hey, Ignatius.
Hey.
So we're really going to meet a human, huh? Can you believe it?
I guess so. I'd be fine if I never saw a single human in my life.
The way things have been going lately, it sounds pretty unlikely that this is the last human we're ever going to see.
Yeah, just our luck.
We'll just have to do our best to make sure none of that happens.
What are you and I supposed to do about it?
I don't know, man. That's why we're still in school.
We'll find a way. We've had the best education in magic, martial arts, strategy, and history that our people can provide. If we just believe in ourselves...
Oh, you're sounding very, very formal, Aurora. The words die in my throat. The look on Ignatius's face drains the optimism right out of me.
It sounded a lot better in my head. Well, what's your idea, grumpy face?
My thought was I graduate and I go find a nice, quiet place far away from everyone and everything, and no one ever asks me to do anything ever again. No humans or elementals. Maybe some elementals.
Well, that's one way to do it.
Village outskirts. We finally reach a small building on the outskirts of our village.
Gather around and listen carefully. This human is an adolescent, like yourselves. He is the son of the village chief. He is immensely valuable as a prisoner, and unlike humans, we do not mistreat our prisoners. Keep your hands to yourself and keep your distance.
How did he come to be in our custody, Elder?
We found a group of adolescent human males skulking around the edge of the village, in violation of our inter-village agreement. You may recall that we've had a pact of non-violence with the humans for the last few centuries. Elemental males were permitted to visit the village in secret, and have children with any woman they chose, with the exception of human nobles, so long as the women consented. The agreement limited the number of human elemental relationships per year. It wasn't ideal, but we got what we needed, and the humans were able to have some measure of peace. Recently, the humans seem to have forgotten our agreement. Although our agreement is due to expire just after the coming-of-age ceremony, the humans have not even waited until then to begin their incursions. We took this boy as he had some worth as a prisoner, but his companions were of no use to us. There has been some tension between our village and the human village of late, but this is too far. We recognize that they are still boys, however, so we will give them an opportunity to make things right. Still, this is a good lesson for all of you. None of you are old enough to have left the village yet.
I was about to say.
So this boy represents an excellent chance to observe a human firsthand.
As we enter the building, I see a young human male sitting in the middle of the room. His hands are bound together, and he sits with his head bowed, seemingly lost in thought. He looks up, startled at the sight of us. He's strangely attractive. He has a boyish face, but his body is all man. I can't read this with a straight face. He stares unabashedly at me, the contours of his handsome features lit prettily by a single lumen spell. The sight of a female elemental must be new to him. I thought a human boy would be a bit uglier. I can feel my face growing hot under his shameless gaze, and I can see that someone in the meantime has removed his restraints. Is he dangerous? Guess I'll smile at him. No, you know what? I'm gonna do nothing.
Have a good look. If all goes well, he will be returned to his people in a few days' time.
Caspian is the first to leave. He strides out of the room, unimpressed as always. Rocco follows him, looking uncharacteristically annoyed. Rowan gives the boy another glance, as if mentally sizing him up, then exits. Unsurprisingly, Ignatius stalks out of the room without another look at the human, while Lux regards the prisoner with his usual quiet thoughtfulness for a few moments before leaving. Why y'all gotta ditch me like that? Elder Soul waits patiently by the door. The human and I are essentially alone, but I can't really say or do much with Elder Soul here. Maybe I'll come back later. That was uneventful. Training yard.
Now that we've had a look at the face of our enemy, we must ensure you are prepared to defend against them. We will spend the rest of the lesson sparring. Pair up.
I look around the room. Usually the boys have all paired up by now, but today they all seem to be waiting for my decision. This is weird. Ignatius, of course. Ignatius looks particularly displeased at my choosing him. He fidgets uncomfortably.
Hey, what's that face for? I promise I won't go too hard on you.
I'd be happy to switch partners with you, Iggy.
Ignatius bows stiffly, holding his hand out toward Rocco in a rude gesture.
Ignatius?
Sorry, Elder. Whenever you're ready.
Do I get to is there a mechanic where I can like punch? He still looks displeased. I wonder what his problem is. Are we in a minigame? Oh no. That would have been cool though, if just out of nowhere came like a quick time event minigame for punching. I would be down with that. No, I'm gonna give him a fair fight.
Give me all you've got, Ignatius. I won't hold back.
I can use all the elements right now. I whip Ignatius' feet out from under him and throw myself on top of him, pinning him to the ground. He taps out a second later.
Enough. I'm done.
I slip off of Ignatius and climb to my feet, offering my hand to him. He ignores me and stands up. He looks rather put out. Maybe I should have taken it easier on him. I hope I didn't embarrass him. Really though, I don't care because I'm a strong, independent woman. It's been a long day. I'll probably turn in early tonight. It's going to take me forever to fall asleep with all that's been happening.
Huh?
There's a stack of papers on my bedside table. These aren't mine. I sit on the edge of my bed and spread the papers out in front of me. I grab the closest one to me and read. Coming of age ceremony got you in a pastry panic. Briarwood's Bakery will put the sweetness back in your party planning. Oh, well, that's interesting. I guess it's an advertisement. I open another one. Clothe yourself in nothing but the finest raiment in all the land. Sweet William the Courier will design you a coming-of-age ceremony gown so fine it will make your peers simply ill with envy. I have a sinking feeling the rest of these papers are all adverts. That one did have a really pretty dress on it, though. Shine as brightly as you deserve now and for the rest of your life, Zircon. This one has a marriage band and necklace set. Thanks.
Now that you've been through the change, you'll be a fully grown woman before we know it. And as a woman, there are many things you'll have to deal with that your classmates won't.
Like inequality?
What do you mean, Papa?
Well, you know it's not permitted for elementals to intermarry with humans, so most elementals will never even have the chance to marry.
Why can't they just marry a boy, Papa?
Exactly.
Well, they certainly can, dear one, but not every boy likes boys. Not every girl likes boys either, but that's beside the point. One day you will come of age, and you'll be given a choice that most of your classmates won't. You may want to marry an elemental man. It's early yet, but you're never too young to think about your future and what you want out of life. Marriage is a choice not many of us have anymore. Your mother and I were married for many years before we had you.
He sighs wistfully.
She was an incredible woman, but that was our decision. Your mother always said all she ever wanted was for you to make your own way, and I've always tried to respect that. If you wish to marry someday, I'll throw the biggest party the land has ever seen. But marriage is not the only path to a happy relationship and a fulfilling life.
I don't know right now, Papa. Can I think about this later?
He ruffles my hair.
Of course, sweet girl. You're too young for all this kind of talk. Your mother would be ashamed of me for boring you to tears like this.
Oh, that flashback took all day. Oh, Papa, you've always let me make my own choices. I haven't really given marriage much thought since that day, though. I want to get married someday. I look at the marriage band and try to imagine what that great sparkling jewel would look like resting against my forehead. I've never given it too much thought before now, but the idea of marriage just feels right. I want to be bonded to someone forever. I place the paper to the side so I can look at it again later. As I lay down to sleep, I find myself thinking about marriage and more about the boys in my class. I find myself lingering on thoughts of Ignatius. As I drift off to sleep, he's the last thing on my mind. Oh, pretty. It's cold and dark. I hold my hands out in front of a small fire, trying desperately to warm myself, but it's little use. Just as I'm about to give up, the fire burns brighter and grows taller and taller. It begins to take a strange shape, the shape of a man. Ignatius. Whoa, okay. Sure, why not? I've never seen so much of his beautiful orange skin at once. It's usually covered with several layers of fabric. He steps out of the embers and walks towards me.
You look cold.
I notice there's a tiny shift in your voice, Ignatius.
I am.
Oh no, is it getting spicy?
You should let me help you with that. You know, they say the best way to keep warm is to huddle together.
Isn't that only true for fire elementals?
Maybe, maybe not. We should test it out for ourselves.
I fall into Ignatius's arms and I feel like I could melt. He's so amazingly warm. He laughs.
Isn't that better? But your lips still look a bit cold to me.
He comes in close and leans his forehead against mine. Even his face is warm and wonderful. His nose brushes against mine. I close my eyes. I awaken with a start. No fire, no Ignatius. Damn it! Oh, goddess, why? Why do I always wake up just as my dreams are getting good? I snuggle deeper into my blankets, desperately chasing the feel of Dream Ignatius's warmth. Ignatius would never let me get that close to him in real life. He shrinks away from even the smallest touches. I've never really thought about him like that before, but now that I'm thinking about it, I would have liked that kiss. Well, at any rate, guess I better give up and get going. Or get up and get going. I barely get a few steps into the village proper before a group of villagers carrying bolts of fabric come running up to me all at once.
Miss, please, if you'll just have a look at these fabric swatches.
Don't bother with that fool's swatches. See here, miss, we have a dress already made for you. Please, miss.
I gotta get to class.
Those rags aren't fit to grace your body, miss. We've got a gown waiting for you in our shop.
I don't have my wallet with me. It seems as if all the village tailors have decided to try their luck at once this morning. I'll accept their gifts because I accepted that, the sweet rolls and the crown. I accepted a bunch of other gifts, so I'll accept these too. I don't really know what to do with these fabrics and samples, but it wouldn't hurt to have a look at them later.
Sirs, you honor me with your gifts, but I'm currently on my way to school. If you could have them delivered to the student quarters, I'd be delighted to take a look at them after class at my leisure so I can give them the consideration they deserve.
The villagers nod furiously and take off in the direction of the dormitory, shouting and attempting to trip each other up as they go. Well, that's one group taken care of. I can see another group of villagers approaching, and this time they seem to be carrying sweets and tiny cake samples.
Do all our tradesmen travel in herds in this village?
The baker's arguments reach me long before they do.
So help me, Magnus, if you touch my cakes one more time! What are you even doing here, Adrianico? You're a carpenter!
I may be a carpenter, but my hobby cakes taste 1,000 times better than those dry, crumbling little insults you're carrying in your hands!
As if you can even talk, Gillivar! You might as well be a carpenter, too! Your cakes are like wood!
I would love nothing more than to sit and stuff myself with sweets, but at this rate, there's no way I'm going to make it to class on time. Just as a small crowd of villagers arrives, I look across the square and spot Ignatius on his way to class. I give him a desperate wave. He looks around for a moment, then points at himself with a confused look on his face. Yes, you. Just as the villagers begin to thrust their baked goods towards me, I hold my hand out to stop them.
Sirs, you honor me with your gifts, but I see my classmate across the square and I promised him we would walk together. I really must be going now. Please feel free to deliver any samples to my quarters. Thanks!
Oh great, now you've told them where you live. The villagers pause for a moment, surprised by my outburst. I take the opportunity to run through them, giving them a quick bow as I go. Ignatius simply stands in place, watching me run towards him. I hook my arm around his as I pass him, dragging him along with me. It happens so quickly he's unable to pull his arm away in time. We run arm in arm together for a few moments until at last the crowd is far behind us.
You can probably let go now.
No, I don't think I can.
Oh, right. Thanks, Ignatius.
I let go of Ignatius's arm, but he doesn't move away from me like I would expect. He folds his arms over his chest and stares at the ground as we walk.
What was all that about?
Oh, like you don't know.
Some of the craftsmen around here got the bright idea to come and show me samples of their wares in person. And they're all really passionate about it.
I guess it's only gonna get worse, huh?
Yeah, this has been escalating already.
I might as well just live in the school.
I guess everyone's probably telling you what a big honor it is and that you should just suck it up.
Yep.
Well, I won't. Sorry this stuff keeps happening to you.
See, we're on the same level. Thank you.
Thanks, Ignatius. At least one guy in this village understands.
Yeah, I promise you're never going to hear me talk about honor and responsibility.
Ignatius seems to be looking past me. I turn around to follow his gaze and see some of our village warriors headed in the other direction. They're heavily armed, which is unusual to see in the middle of the village.
Huh. Guess they must be going to see the prisoner.
The human boy? I hope they don't hurt him.
Well, then they shouldn't have untied his ropes. I'm just saying.
Why do you care what happens to him? He doesn't give a shit what happens to us. None of them do.
Walk it back or double down. I'm gonna stand my ground.
You don't know that. We don't really know anything about him. None of us talk to him. He could be the kindest human in the land.
Seriously? Why would the kindest human in the land be skulking around the edge of our village? You think he was coming here to deliver cookies?
Well, at this point, I guess we'll never know, will we? Come on, you saw him. He's completely in over his head. The minute he tries to put a toe out of line, they'll be all over him.
All right, that's enough about the human. Just thinking about him annoys me.
Everything annoys you, Ignatius. We walk to the rest of the way to class in a thoughtful silence. As we make our way to the training yard for today's magic lesson, Elder Soul is already waiting for us. He watches with barely concealed impatience as we filter in one by one.
Today will be a bit different. You're nearing your coming-of-age ceremony, which means we only have a week left together. Normally, I would assign you partners.
Uh-oh.
But your classmate here has an extra choice the rest of you don't.
Here it comes. 5 heads swivel around to look at me in perfect unison. Elder Soul's intimidating gaze falls upon me.
You've studied the elements for the last 14 years of your life. But you're
That's
going to
right.
have to make a commitment. You'll be choosing your own partner today. You won't have many more chances to explore magic in a neutral environment like this, so make the most of your time.
But I want to keep all the powers. I break away from the line and turn to look at my classmates. All of them look at me expectantly, except for Lux, who gives me his usual serene smile. Nothing ever seems to bother him.
Don't drag it out, darling. Just break their hearts and get it over with.
You know, now that I'm thinking about it, I would have liked to spar with him the first time and then play dirty and just punch him right in the face. And maybe the dick.
Have you ever even seen her using wind magic outside of class? You left confidence behind long ago, buddy. We're getting into delusional territory here.
Like Earth isn't just as useless for defense.
You do realize Earth magic isn't all flowers and grass, right?
It's not a popularity contest, guys. She needs to think about her future.
All of you be quiet.
After some consideration, I take in a deep breath and point my finger dramatically at... Ignatius!
Ignatius!
The room goes silent.
Me?
Yes, you. Did I stutter?
Him?
Did I stutter? Get out, Rocco. I'm tired of looking at your face.
Well, that's a choice.
You too, Rowan. You both get out. Get out. I don't want to look at you anymore.
You know what? Fuck!
That's right.
Enough! We may be outside, but class is still in session. Your classmate has an important decision to make, and she doesn't need your fool voices in her head.
He places a large hand on my shoulder and gives me an awkward pat. I think he means to reassure me. It's rather sweet.
Thank you, Elder.
Ignatius and I find some space in the corner.
Not that I agree with those assholes, but what made you choose me exactly? You never seemed that interested in fire magic before.
Well, apparently I've not seemed interested in any other sort of magic. I've just been having them all. Blunt answer, sweet answer, rebellious answer. I'm feeling a little rebellious.
I come from a long line of water elementals. Everyone back home thinks I'm just going to fall in line and choose water. But what about what I want?
Yeah, what about what you want?
Exactly. Level, even. We're on the same page.
Can you imagine how freaked out everyone would be if I came home a fire elemental? They'd probably kick me out.
Really? I met your dad a couple of times. He always seemed really nice and supportive. Not like my family.
Oh, well, my dad is really great, actually. But I mean, the rest of the village.
Oh no, we're losing face.
I thought your village puts on a festival every year with a neighboring village of fire elementals.
How do you even know that?
You told us about it once when we were just kids. I thought it sounded nice, so it kind of stuck with me.
Oh, so you remember.
I'm trying to let off some steam here, Ignatius. I need you to work with me.
Ha! Sorry. It's just that your village and your family always sounded really nice. You should appreciate them. Rebellion isn't as fun as it sounds.
Fine. But I still want to learn more about fire magic.
Well then, let's get started. Fire magic might seem simple at first glance. After all, any idiot can light a fire, even without magic. But there's more to it.
Does fire magic have defensive or practical uses aside from the obvious?
Is there an RPG mechanic? Probably not, but I would love that. If this was like, if like Heroes of Might and Magic 3 was a visual novel, I think this is what it would be. By the way, I have a playlist of my Heroes of Might and Magic 3 content. You should check it out.
Well, the complexity with fire isn't really the same as other elements. Sure, you can devise defensive uses for it, but the real skill in using fire magic is contained within the fire itself.
Within the fire itself?
It's probably easier for me to just show you.
He holds his hand out and calls forth a small flame. It burns brightly, hovering just above his hand.
This is gonna sound weird, but I need you to just trust me on this one. Go ahead and touch the flame. Come on, why would I burn you in the middle of class? Just touch it already.
All right.
I take a few steps closer to Ignatius and cautiously reach my hand out toward the flame. To my surprise, as my hand gets closer, I don't feel any heat. My hand reaches the fire and passes right through. All I feel is a pleasant, mild warmth.
Oh, it's not even hot.
See? Told you. So this is pretty standard stuff, right? Some of my uncles can make fire that will melt just about anything.
Can they make nice, warm fire like this too? Little baby fires?
Sure. That's easy. All right, why don't you give it a shot now?
Oh, me?
No, Sirocco. Come on, quit messing around. Just focus on the flame. And as dumb as it sounds, try to be cold yourself. Don't work yourself up into a tizzy trying to make a cold flame. You have to kind of be in the same mindset as you want the flame to be.
Okay.
I close my eyes and try my best to think of cool thoughts. Clear your mind, Aurora. Calm. Cool.
Okay. Looks good so far. I'm going to try touching it now.
I open one eye and take a peek at Ignatius. I don't often get a chance to look at his face like this close up. He's usually staring at the floor. He's really quite handsome.
So far, so good. Ow! What the hell do you think you're doing?
Oh, excuse me, I thought you were a fire elemental and things can't burn you. Is that a problem? Ignatius yanks his hand back and sucks on his burned fingertip.
I'm so sorry, Ignatius. I got distracted for just a moment.
Yeah, well, you were doing great up until then. So keep practicing. And keep your focus next time.
I will. Sorry again.
I'll be fine. Learning to deal with burns is kind of a big part of the whole deal. If you ever want to practice sometime... I mean, if you ever need someone to check your work...
I'd like that.
I'd like that, Ignatius. Thank you.
Really? Well, great.
Ignatius fidgets nervously with his hands. A few moments pass in awkward silence. I don't think he anticipated getting this far. I guess he's really not used to hanging out with other people.
Well, I promise I'll try not to burn you too badly.
My comment seems to jar him out of his embarrassment.
Every time you burn me, I'm going to burn you back. You'll learn real quick.
Even playing field.
Maybe I'll practice on my own a bit first.
You'd think I'd have already mastered all of the elements, because I'm nearing graduation, I guess. But okay. It's been a long day. The villagers clamoring for my attention only got worse on my way back. I might need to start taking another route home. Yes. Despite everything I've been through in the last few days, as I lay down to sleep, I find my thoughts constantly returning to that human boy. I'll never forget the way he looked at me. He was a lot cuter than I ever imagined a human would be. It feels a bit strange to think that, but I can't help it. I yawn and snuggle up against my pillow. I wonder what he thinks about all day tied up in that room. Is he scared? Angry? Does he hate all of us? I wish I could talk to him just for a little bit. I'm so curious. But I really ought to turn in early and get some sleep. On the other hand, this might be a perfect opportunity to go see him. Most of the village should be winding down for the night, and the guards shouldn't be too on edge yet, since they've only just started their shift. I'm gonna sneak out. I push the blankets off me and sit up. I'll never get a better opportunity than this. Who knows when they'll be ransoming her. Blah, 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 blah. I push the blankets off me and sit up. I'll never get a better opportunity than this. Who knows when they'll be ransoming him back? I whispered to myself in the darkness.
Okay, let's do this.
I peek my head out of the door and glance both ways. Nothing. I can hear Rocco plunking away at his lute in his room and singing horribly off-key. Perfect. No one will hear me leaving over that din. Oh, Rocco, the goddess blessed you with good looks and the ability to play, but she stopped there. We've been training for years in the event of a human incursion, but I never imagined I'd be putting these skills to use in my own village. The village is much quieter at this time of the evening, although there's still quite a few people awake. If I'm spotted, I'm done for. Better be careful. Here we go. I can't believe it. I made it. That was easier than I expected. I allow myself to bask in my victory. There's just one guard here. I think Elder Soul mentioned that the perimeter of the village tends to be more heavily guarded than the inside. Our magic is usually enough to stop anything or anyone from getting in. The sneaking around stops here, though. There's only one door. I take a deep breath and boldly stroll right up to the guard at the door. He snaps out of his apparent stupor and blocks the door with his massive body.
You
don't look that big.
Where do you think you're going?
He doesn't look that big. We can take him.
Oh, I'm just here to observe the prisoner for our history class. We're doing a special unit on human-elemental relations.
He frowns.
I was never told of this. None of your classmates have been by today.
Shoot.
Oh, well, this is a little embarrassing. I just really love history, and I wanted to impress Elder Glenn. Couldn't you give me just a little time?
He squints at me suspiciously.
10 minutes. That's it.
Sounds easy.
Oh, thank you so much.
Good luck with your studies.
It's rather dark inside. A small magical light floats near the post the boy is shackled to, illuminating his face. He looks up with a start at the sound of my entrance.
Oh, it's you. What are you doing here?
See, he can't be too dangerous. They took his handcuffs off. What am I doing here? I shut the door behind me quietly.
I'm not sure exactly. I just felt like I needed to come talk to you without everyone else here. To see for myself.
To see what? How dangerous I am?
He throws up his hands in frustration, causing his chains to clank noisily. His shoulders sag at this audible reminder of his current predicament.
Whatever you're going to do, just get it over with. I don't care anymore.
I kneel down in front of him and study his features in the dim light. His handsome young face looks rather worse for wear since the last time I saw him.
Have they treated you poorly here?
What kind of a question is that? Look at me.
Are you dead? Sympathize, rebuff. I guess I'll sympathize. I take his manacled hand in mine and give him a kind smile. He deflates completely.
You're absolutely right. I'm so sorry. It must be so hard to be away from your family and people.
His mouth opens and closes wordlessly for a few moments. He finally settles on an awkward nod.
What's your name?
Daniel.
Daniel. That's a beautiful name. What does it mean?
What's it mean? I don't really know. Human names don't always have a meaning.
The light is dim, but I can tell that he's blushing. He's so easily flustered. I wonder how far I can push him. No, what does that mean? No, this has gone too far. I pat his hand gently and let it go. I'm not really sure why I'm here right now, but it's certainly not to explore human sexuality. It's time for me to go.
I hope when you go back to your people, you'll tell them that not all of us are so bad over here.
As I stand to leave, he looks suddenly despondent.
Please, don't leave me here by myself.
I kind of have to.
I'm sorry.
I hear the door open behind us. Whoa, what are you doing here?
Ignatius, what are you doing here?
Forget about me. What are you doing here?
How did you get past the guard?
I just wanted to talk to him on my own. I don't know what I was expecting exactly, but I needed to come and find out for myself, whatever it was going to be.
Well, are you done now?
I take one last look at the human boy. His sad brown eyes seem to plead with me to stay.
Yeah.
Let's get the hell out of here then.
How did you know I was there? First of all.
Thank you for the time.
Right.
I wait until Ignatius and I are out of earshot of the guard. We walk down the path towards the student quarters.
What were you doing here anyway? How did you know where I went?
Ignatius stares at the floor.
I know this is going to sound weird, but I was actually just getting back from the bathhouse.
This late at night?
I don't like... I just prefer to be alone. And nobody's ever there late at night. Anyway, I saw you sneaking out. I was pretty far, so you didn't see me. It looked... I don't know, it seemed kind of weird. So I followed you.
I can't help but feel a bit annoyed. I can take care of myself.
What are you worried about me for? I can take care of myself.
I never said you couldn't.
So why are you here then?
Do you give everybody who cares about you this much grief? I'm never going to do anything nice for you ever again.
Oh yes, you care about me?
You care about me?
Oh snap, oh no, she's onto us. He's speechless.
We've known each other for years. I care about everyone in our class.
Except Rocco. I wouldn't be upset if you did not care about him.
Oh.
Except for Sirocco. And Rowan. And maybe Caspian sometimes. Lux is cool.
That's right. That's right. I feel strangely disappointed. I don't know why, but I was hoping for a little more somehow. 11 days. Well, I am going to go ahead and leave this episode of Akash Path of the Five here. It's a little steamy, it's a little cringy, and I am here for it already. Thank you so much for joining me. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. I hope to see you next time. Bye!